Carlo. Good to see you again.
Hey, Damon. Good morning.
And morning to you. Yeah, thanks for joining us on our Hawk Talks this morning. So, to our global audience who might be new to STT GDC, could you perhaps share a little bit about the group and its structure?
Yeah, well, ST Telemedia Global Data Centers, or STT GDC for short, is a global data center organization. It's one of the fastest growing data center focused companies in the world, currently operating in 8 countries and expanding. In the Philippines, STT GDC Philippines is actually a joint venture between Globe, Ayala Corporation, and of course, ST Telemedia Global Data Centers. So from a structure perspective, it combines the strengths of 3 parents into a joint venture that's focused on providing world-class data center colocation and other services to the Philippine market.
That's really exciting. It sounds like you brought the best of every part of the world into this organization that you have here.
Yeah, it's actually quite. It's been an interesting year, a little bit over a year, close to actually 2 years now of operation in the Philippines. We were formed in March of 2022. And so we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary. And in those 2 years, we've really been able to take advantage of the synergies between the global expertise of ST Telemedia GDC and also the local knowledge of Globe in operating in the Philippines, having operated data centers in the Philippines for almost 20 years now.
Congratulations on the upcoming 2 years anniversary. And tell us a little bit about yourself. How you got to where you are today as the CEO of STT GDC in Philippines.
Yeah, quite honestly, my career has been quite an interesting path. I never thought I would be working in data centers or telecommunications in general. I really started off my career academically as an engineer. I was an engineer at the University of California, Berkeley, specializing in of all things, robotics and fiber optic design, right? But things take a turn for a reason, and I got involved and spent a large part of my career with AT&T, primarily in the U.S., in Texas and California, but also had an opportunity to be part of a start of a new company in AT&T Mexico, where AT&T launched its first international consumer mobile venture. So, from there, had various roles in AT&T in operations, finance, marketing, sales, IT, of course, and ended up going to the Philippines to be part of Globe and being responsible as CIO, or Chief Information Officer, of their digital strategy and of course all their systems. This was actually an interesting time because I moved in 2019 to the Philippines, and of course in 2020, less than 3 or 4 months after I arrived, we had the start of the COVID pandemic era. So, had to really adapt and understand how to shift. And fortunately, Globe was an environment that was ready for, if you would say that, it was ready for a very digitalized work environment. Already had cloud in progress and continued to implement cloud, had the right work tools, and definitely was able to thrive in this pandemic era. Fast forward a few more years, and we formed this STT GDC Philippines joint venture, and then got an opportunity to really lead a company, and I really thought it was an exciting emerging industry in the Philippines. The Philippines is really nascent in terms of its digital transformation as a country, and really honored and blessed to be part of this nascent industry that will enable digital here in this country.
So with your diverse background, can you share your perspective on how you see the data center industry evolving and looking like in the next 5 years or so?
Well, really, the data center industry is really dependent on what I think a single premise, and that is the continuous digitalization that's happening globally. Right now, if you look around, every organization has a digital agenda. Every organization I've run into that's of any significant size now really has a cloud-first agenda as well. And so with these two themes of digital and cloud, you're really relying on computers to either have more compute or more storage resources available. A lot of the layperson out there don't really understand that anything they do on their smartphones require a computer somewhere in the world to do something, whether it's to store a picture that you just took or several selfies, or to run a bank transaction, to check your bank balance, to send email, to do video conferencing like we're doing today. All of these things require a computer at the end of the day somewhere in the world to do something, process or store. And these computers need to be secured, powered, cooled, connected. And that place where all of that happens is a data center. And so as long as we believe in the premise that digitalization will continue and continue to expand worldwide, there is a need for data centers. Now, let's zoom in on the Philippines. And in the Philippines, the pandemic actually accelerated digitalization. One of the success stories in the Philippines has been the emergence of digital wallets and digital transactions. In fact, this morning, I was just reading the news, and I saw that in 2024, it's projected to be over 60% of all financial transactions in the Philippines involved digital. And so, I think that that's going to continue to grow, not only from a financial transaction, but other things like business operations and really a lot of different aspects of society will be digitalized to further make it, again, a better environment for everyone. And so with that premise, we really think that data centers will continue to be a core digital infrastructure industry that's going to be needed to enable all of these things that we're dreaming of and more to come in the near future.
Thanks for sharing that. Is that one of the main reasons why, STT GDC Philippines invested and started a 124 megawatts data center campus in Fairview? Or is there anything else that really drove this kind of developments?
Well, first off, and we really thought that, and thank you for mentioning our latest project. STT Fairview is going to be the largest, most interconnected, sustainable, and carrier-neutral facility in the Philippines once fully built out. And it's going to start next year with the opening of the first phase at 28 megawatts. Our decision to start and build big is really coupled in several things. One of them is really the cloud. In order to consume this level of capacity, it's really going to be catering to the hyperscaler market, where the global cloud providers, both from the US and from China, would then be expanding their operations. I really do believe that also with the constraints on the current data center hubs in Singapore and Hong Kong, I really think that there's going to be an increased demand in the Southeast Asia region for data center capacity. And so I think we're seeing the wave go through in Southeast Asia, and especially in the Philippines, where it's now also become quite a hub of submarine cable activity. If you look at the submarine cable maps globally, it'll be interesting to see that all the submarine cables that passed into Southeast Asia passed by the Philippines in the northern portion, right? So from a connectivity perspective, really believe that the Philippines, from its geographical location, is well positioned, along with the myriads of renewable energy projects that are currently ongoing in the country that are just going to be opening in time for when we believe that the hyperscaler demand is going to be starting to peak in the country.
So with such a large campus being built, do you encounter or are encountering any issues in terms of constructing and running data centers over there?
Remarkably, we've actually been able to start executing in this project in really a manner that which we thought was very quick for where we were. Now, if you look, we've only been in operation for less than 2 years, and we announced this campus in May last year. So in just a little over a year of the company being active and operating 5 current data centers, we were able to break ground on this STT Fairview campus. not only were we able to do a ceremonial groundbreaking, we're actually been able to somewhat surprise the industry here by announcing that we would have it ready next year. We were able to do that by leveraging several things. Number one, we were able to leverage the global expertise of ST Telemedia Global Data Centers worldwide. We've learned from our more mature markets in Singapore, the UK, India, in terms of design, and even in the Southeast Asian market, where STT has recently opened Thailand and Indonesia. We were able to quickly understand what's required to design and build world-class data centers. And we were able to apply those design principles in STT Fairview. We were able to combine that, of course, with Globe's understanding of the local market, of the telco network that's in place today. And we were able to combine that along with Ayala Corporation's expertise in different areas, including energy and land development and banking even. And so with that, we were able to come together with this project and launch this project where we were already, after the ceremonial groundbreaking, we were already starting the demolition and clearing and early works of the project. I still remember a reporter asking me about when we actually would start the project, because it's normally in the industry, there's a bit of a lag between the announcements and the actual construction activities. And they were quite surprised when I said tonight. And so we actually started working right after the groundbreaking and clearing the land. And now happy to report that we're on track with our current project, and really looking forward to opening the campus in early 2025.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Oftentimes we see quite a lag between planned capacity announcements and actual construction. So it's great to see that your first tranche of capacity is coming online next year. Earlier you mentioned the global expertise as well as the local perspective. Are there any specific technology innovations or stacks being used that you would like to share with our audience here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as with anything, data centers are very power hungry projects, right? And so we have to be very, very focused on the sustainability aspect of our project. And so our technologies are really around being able to not only cater to the customers, but being able to do so in a manner that's responsible to our environment and to society in general. So in terms of technologies, for example, one of the interesting aspects of the project is we didn't just maximize power utilization efficiency, or PUE. We weren't just maximizing power, because we also understood that water is a very, very important consideration, and that we have to balance it. And so what we did was we of course tried to optimize that balance of PUE and water usage efficiency to create a project that will be not only very efficient from an electrical consumption perspective, but really world-class in terms of water utilization. Even though in the Philippines, you have a country surrounded by water, it's an archipelago, but water is still quite a challenge in a lot of locations, and we want to do our part in being able to ensure that we are conserving water by having a adiabatic closed loop system that barely utilizes any water, as opposed to the much more water intensive techniques in cooling other data centers in the world.
Sure, it seems like ESG is definitely a huge focus at STT GDC. Obviously you mentioned about both the PUE and the WUE earlier. Are there any other strategies in place to look at the ESG targets that your company has set?
Yeah, well, one of the things that's been beneficial for us is we get the full support of all three parents. All three of our parent companies are very focused and all have their sustainability goals and aggressive sustainability goals at that. And so, when we looked at this project, we also looked at the way that we build it, and even the fact that we're introducing quite a lot of innovation in the safety arena with respect to the construction. We are probably one of the first companies in the Philippines that is truly enforcing and executing on safety procedures that are done internationally. So we're using Singapore safety standards in terms of how we operate and how we even set up the site, how our people work. And we really would like to ensure that as we build this facility, that we're focused on that safety aspect. We're looking to integrate all of that into the way that we operate our current data centers. It's been quite a change for a lot of the partners that we work with. That we really do mean it when we say we need a safety first perspective, and we actually enforce it day in and day out.
Does that mean a lot more data centers in the pipeline beyond the initial 124 megawatts then?
Yeah, funny you mentioned that, because last year we actually ended the year with a little bit of a bang by announcing a second data center project. Not quite the same scale as 124 megawatts, but we are expanding our Cavite campus, which at the end is able to support up to about 30 megawatts of IT capacity. We currently operate 2 data centers there. We have Cavite 1 and another data center we operate for one of the parents. And we announced in November last year a STT Cavite 2, which will be joining Cavite 1 as a 6 megawatt data center project in that particular campus. We, again, similar to STT Fairview, we look to adapt and learn from the learnings of the design and operation from both all our international entities, as well as how we operate in the Philippines. And we're going to be opening that facility in mid-2025. So next year is going to be exciting for us, because we're going to be bringing online 15 megawatts of capacity, which in the Philippines is quite a large amount of capacity, because of the country currently operates roughly around 60 megawatts today from a total country perspective.
Right. With the different kind of capacity sizes of the different data centers that you've built, do you see a difference in terms of the target customers, operating parameters, and stuff like that?
Well, absolutely. Well, STT Fairview will primarily cater to the hyperscaler or global cloud provider market, because of the sheer size and the sheer runway, right? When you're looking at global or hyperscalers, they tend to look at a runway where they can grow and expand in the site and have enough runway where they don't have to worry about having to recertify another data center for them to expand to. So that's one of the roles of STT Fairview. However, having said that, we also wanted to be able to leverage that world-class technology, world-class design, and world-class operation for utilization by the enterprise space. And so we're carving out a section of STT Fairview and all our other data centers for the enterprise market, so that as they go digital and they still have on-prem colocation requirements, they're able to leverage from all of this investment into this new technology, so that they'll be able to share in the benefits of the hyperscaler standards for the local market. And so, STT Cavite will probably be catering again to a more balanced market, where it's more balanced towards enterprise, just because of the size of it. But again, we see another runway where as the hyperscalers expand their current local presence, we count the hyperscalers already as current customers. And so as they start expanding their local presence, we'll be in a position to serve them in the coming years.
Makes a lot of sense to have that enterprise mix as well, to serve, for example, the online banking and stuff like that. Thanks.
Absolutely. I think that the digitalization has also shifted the demands on their on-prem data centers to the point where, today, in the past, when you ran batch transactions, and it wasn't, again, in the past, I used to joke, like, how many people used to check their bank balances daily, right? So in the past, you get your statement, you look at it once a month, maybe twice, and that's it, right? And today, every time you open an app, you're calling for your bank balance. And so look at those sort of transactions that you're generating because of that. And also the demands of 24/7 by 365, that the customers are expecting you to be open all the time. And those types of demands oftentimes cannot be fulfilled by on-prem facilities that are co-located in old facilities that don't have those availability numbers that we're able to do with our hyperscale grade data centers.
Yeah, in fact, I think most banks today do not even want to provide you with a paper statement and would just require you to log on 24/7, 365, you mentioned, to be able to view your bank balances.
Absolutely.
So, Carlo, what does the growth of STT GDC Philippines look like over the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, Damon, for that, we're very optimistic. We have laid the groundwork with respect to our biggest facility, which is STT Fairview. We see that facility expanding. The 124 megawatts is currently planned for 4 different phases. So phase one with 28 megawatts will be deployed in 2025 through 2026 with 12 and 16 megawatts respectively. And then phase 2, 3, and 4 will continue to evolve. They're going to be sized at 32 megawatts each. And it will also have an opportunity to adopt each phases as the demands of our customers evolve over time as well. One of the things that as we created these data centers, they're definitely ready for liquid cooling or direct liquid cooling, where we see that technology, which is much more efficient and sustainable, become much more mainstream in the cloud market today than it is today. One of the other key things is of course, as we start developing and expanding capacity and operating data centers, we have to ensure that we have the world-class talent that's necessary to support these world-class facilities. And so we're looking to also move forward in several initiatives. We've partnered with several academic institutions to ensure that we have a steady stream of talent, because the Philippines currently produces quite a number of engineers annually. Our challenge right now in the Philippines is a lot of the best engineers tend to be exported and work in another country. And so with our industry being much more capital versus labor intensive, we're really looking forward to hiring the best of the best and being able to keep them in the Philippines so that we would have world-class talent that could operate these world-class data centers.
That's definitely great to know. I mean, the talent pool for data centers definitely needs to be increased as our industry continues to grow. It's great to see that you have all these initiatives with all the different industry players. And you mentioned about AI. This is something that everyone's been talking about. Definitely keen to get your view on this in terms of how you see AI's adoption in the Philippines.
Yeah, well, AI is going to be a very interesting challenge for the Philippines. I really do think it's going to be a big focus because currently one of the biggest industries in the Philippines is the BPO industry or the call center industry, right? And these are industries that I believe will be much more impacted by the AI adoption and revolution that we're starting to see globally. And so one of the things that we'll be looking for is to augment these industries with AI capabilities in the Philippines. And I think that AI being a different type of workload will really be looking for more for more of that training models in terms of where they're going to house those training models. And having a country that has so many renewable projects and renewable energy projects, I think will be a major advantage for us to be able to play in the AI space. STT GDC worldwide has actually been involved with AI factories and have already started installing some of these AI bare metal, very specialized GPU processing in some of our data centers in Singapore as well as India. And then we do believe that in the near future, we'll be looking at AI and AI specialized equipment as well in the Philippines.
Got it. And you mentioned earlier about green energy would, the data centers you have on campus have access to these green energy sources?
Yes, absolutely. I would say over 95% of the energy we consume in our we operate 5 data centers mostly in the Metro Manila area as well as Davao. And for all our large data centers, which are 3 of them, which are able to take advantage of power purchase agreements, we're able to secure 100% renewable energy supplies, either from hydroelectric or geothermal sources, as well as upcoming solar and wind projects that are going to be available in the Philippines.
That's awesome to know because everyone's looking at the availability of green energy and not just the data center capacity.
Absolutely.
You had to mention AI, so I had to jump on it.
No, I agree. I think AI is going to be a very interesting piece in the puzzle. You're starting to see some massive demand in AI in the region, and I think it's going to depend on what are the training models going to be, how localized is the data going to have to be with respect to training, and then of course the insights phase of AI where you're trying to apply it in your real time, and how much local capacity you're going to need to be able to do that. So, I think as the world learns to utilize and take advantage of this new technology, I think that the infrastructure demands for digital infrastructure, such as data centers, are going to adapt alongside that evolution.
But do you see a lot of specific use cases right now in the Philippines?
Yeah, I mean, right now, of course, there's always the challenge of training the language models. I think that's one of the things that we'll see in the Philippines as you start looking to be able to get the mixed dialects as well in the Philippines translated from a language perspective. And then from there, you have so many other areas. Any business process you currently look into has an opportunity to take advantage of AI. Being able to learn how to operate different business processes, even in data centers, for example, being able to respond much quicker, being able to predict when equipment will need maintenance, when equipment or sensors may be at some point in time needing to be replaced. Those type of preventive maintenance type use cases for AI are actually really interesting. And then, of course, as you evolve into the e-commerce world where they're looking at recommendations and being able to essentially predict and understand what their particular customer is going to need or do and stay ahead of that. I think that's really going to be some of those key applications, which of course will need to be supported somewhere by a computer.
Yeah, got it. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We definitely look forward to seeing what STT GDC in Philippines has in store for us, especially your new campus in Fairview.
Well, thank you so much for having the opportunity to share our story and to really hopefully be able to inspire and reach an audience about what we're doing here in the Philippines. We're a country that is strategically located and really looking forward to being a major part of the digital infrastructure revolution and evolution here in Southeast Asia. Thank you, and we're looking forward to continuing our digital journey with you.
We're so glad that you were able to share with us today and for our audience to learn more about yourself as well as the Philippines. Thank you.